Hello everybody, welcome in. It's Laura from Tenacious Taurus Twin Flame Tarot, and this is going to be the weekly twin astrology forecast for the Twin Flame Collective for the week ahead. Welcome into a brand new week of intense cosmic energies. We have some big energies this week. We got the sun entering into Virgo today. We have Uranus turning retrograde on Wednesday. I feel things are going to be feeling like they're coming to a halt. They're going to be really slowing down. We have Venus squaring it up with the North Node this week. We have the Sun forming a square to Mars. We have the Virgo new moon. And then we close off the week with Venus opposing Saturn. So Virgo season is starting off. So happy birthday to my Virgo collective. So I think all things Virgo are going to be in focus over the coming month. And we do have a very powerful new moon in Virgo this week. And so I think this is where we're being asked to let ourselves off the hook and to step into our most authentic self, owning all of our flaws and everything. Virgo can be very critical. I did post a meme on Facebook on the weekend, and it's basically Virgo season's coming in to criticize all of those Leo fuck-ups. So I think get ready to face where you've been overly self-critical in the energies this week. And I feel get ready to step into authenticity, because when you are your most authentic self, then you are a magnet to call in that spiritual union. And so I think there's going to be some challenges showing up this week. We're going to have to be super extra aware of any self-criticism, especially when it comes to old wounds of not feeling good enough. So get ready to deal with some self-worth issues. And what I kept hearing is it's time for some big changes. And so we're still feeling in the background that North Node conjunct Uranus energy. And when Uranus goes retrograde, I think get ready for the backdrop of instability and shakeups is kind of what I'm feeling, especially when it comes to all of these old, outworn karmic connections. Any toxic codependencies, habits, anything unhealthy when it comes to situations and dynamics are likely going to come to an abrupt end in the energies this week. Anything that is not aligned with your twin soul purpose. And so I think the energies this week are pushing us to tap into our highest potential. It's breaking up all of these stuck karmic situations, and we're cutting the cords with all of these lower connections and circumstances. And so I do feel brute universal force. I think the universe is kind of stepping in this week when it comes to these divine unions. Because if you're choosing to stay in those old situations, because we all have free will, we can choose to stay in these karmic situations, these karmic relationships, and playing into these addictive habits. But the universe is strongly pushing us this week to recognize the distortion, to release these old contracts once and for all, and to step into these higher timelines. So we are going to want to look at where we've been held up from these outside karmic attachments, all of these outworn soul contracts that have already expired, but we choose to stay in them, creating all kinds of complications. So the universe is saying you have to deal with this now. The universal cosmic energies are supporting this release once and for all. So I do feel you're really going to want to pay attention to your dream space this week. We are in the shadow period of Mercury retrograde, so things can get a little bit foggy. Things can get a little bit confusing. I am going to post how to handle Mercury retrograde on the Twin Flame Journey. I'm going to do a video. Keep an eye for that. Hopefully that will be posted tomorrow. Things are going to be a little bit sporadic this week, guys. I got 2 weeks left with my kiddos home before they go back to school. I got a couple of very fun day trips planned, so I'm going to talk about the big energies daily when time permits, and I'm going to do some bonus videos on how to work with these retrograde energies. So dreams are going to be super active with the retrograde energy coming forward. A lot of messages, prophetic messages coming through in dream space. So you're going to want to keep a dream journal. So interesting. My throat is getting irritated and I've not had to clear my throat for a while. So there's a lot of change happening for us. in the energies this week. So I think a lot of the divine masculines are going to be like this observer. They're going to have to learn how to maneuver through all of these cosmic shifts on their behalf. And so there's going to be a lot of signs and synchronicities showing up that are guiding us. So pay attention to the number sequences, because there's always a deeper hidden meaning. And so get ready to also be shown what blocks need to be cleared. So this is where we kind of drop the facade. All of these old ego masks are kind of having to drop and fall off. And so we're all being pushed to make these big changes, to follow our heart, to follow our dreams, and to shake things up a little bit. And so this has already been going on for a little while, these shakeups, these destined breakdowns. And so really what the universe is saying, what are you being asked to change? What is it time to leave behind? What is long overdue when it comes to leaving something behind? And so this could be a mindset, an old belief, a habit, your thoughts, your emotions, and so forth and so on. Basically anything old, stuck, outworn, and stagnant, we are being asked to leave that behind. And so when we release all of these limitations and we step into this higher version of who we are, that's when the twin can show up for us in the physical reality. And so Virgo season. Virgo season is, you know, a big change when it comes to all of that passionate Leo energy. And it is about perfectionism and service-based energies. And so Virgo's biggest shadow is criticism and lack of self-love. So you're going to want to see where you've got Virgo in your chart. I have a Virgo moon that I've mastered, thankfully. And so I know from my own journey, my counterpart has a Virgo North node, as well as a dark moon Lilith in Virgo. So there's a lot of underlying criticizing energy there and a deep lack of self-love. So I think that's the biggest thing that the masculines are really facing, is this lack of self-love, especially over the coming month in Virgo season. And so I think a lot of the masculines are going to have to work really hard when it comes to self-love, being kinder to themselves and easier on themselves and others. Very critical energy, like over-criticizing energy. And so this whole month is going to be highlighting all of these old wounds where we've not felt good enough for this unconditional connection. So get ready to face those wounds, and I think get ready to learn some big, big lessons when it comes to forgiveness. Virgo's asking us to sort out all of these practical issues, to figure out what's been missing in our lives, and to course correction. Because love can never be controlling, but Virgo will bring forward a lot of controlling, closed off tendencies. And so I think a lot of the feminines are looking for an apology still. You're still waiting around for that apology, right, Divine Feminine? I know. I've been waiting 3.5 years for that apology. That ain't never coming is kind of where I'm at. You know, some people just don't have it in them to apologize, and that's up to them to right their past wrongs, right? So I think a big challenge between right versus wrong. And I know a lot of the feminines have been patiently waiting for that apology from their masculine, waiting for that solution in the 3D world, an apology from the counterpart before we can move forward. But ultimately, it is the feminine that is being guided to forgive and demonstrate unconditional love with or without the apology. And so we have Mercury in Virgo, and it's going to oppose Neptune in retrograde. And so this is really pushing us to right these past wrongs. I feel Neptune, you know, it rules all of this collective unconscious fogginess. It rules our perspectives on love. And so right now we're being asked to release all of these old, outdated beliefs about love and to open up to unconditional love. And so if we go into the heart instead of the mind, it's going to be easier to open up to this connection. And so I always say that the answers are within the heart. So if you're up in the head, that's that Virgo energy, and, you know, get out of the mind, get into the heart. Because when you let your mind ramble on, or you're seeking to control, you're not really open to this eternal connection. And so this love has to be felt. And it cannot be felt until we release control of the mind space. So I think Neptune retrograde energy is showing us what we've already been shown. It's kind of in our face again when it comes to these problems and this lack of self-worth, this lack of self-love. And I feel all of these energies are asking us to pay attention, because I think, you know, it's going to be a very somber period. Once we have all of those outer planets in retrograde, it's going to be a time of rest. It's going to feel like things are slowing down, and we're going to be very tired, I feel, going through these energies. So you might be finding yourself having deep, vivid, meaningful dreams when it comes to all of your past relationships, twin flame or not, because the dream space is showing us where we have blocked this connection, where we have blocked love, where we've been overly self-critical of ourselves and others. And so it's like this big detoxing energy coming through this week when it comes to our perception of self. So this whole week, we're going to feel a trine between Mercury and Pluto, which is taking place today. So this energy is asking us to go deep into our self-criticism, to go deep into that judgment, and to unblock all of these energies. Where have you been deflecting love? When we are aligned to these thoughts of I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, I'll never be good enough, you're not aligned with love at all. And so this is going to be a common pattern that we're going to have to face in Virgo season, is this critical thought process. It's crucial that we open up to love, and we do that in the heart, not in the mind. And another thing that allows us to open up to union is authenticity. So in order to step into authenticity, we kind of got to get to the root cause of our childhood issues, our childhood pain, our childhood wound. And that is often from an over-criticizing parent in childhood, whether it's a mother or a father. But I feel many of the masculines felt like they had to earn love. And this is a big issue, because we don't have to earn love. When we are in our most authentic presence, we are love at the core. So I feel a lot of the masculines are having a very difficult time when it comes to loving themselves, accepting their flaws, opening up to their spiritual gifts, and accepting every perfectly imperfect part of themselves. And so as the feminine accepts herself fully, then we become a magnet to the masculine doing this deep healing path work. So I do think there's going to be a lot of triggers with the Pluto involvement this week. There's going to be a lot of conflicts coming up that many will be experiencing, and we need to remember it's all rooted in that childhood wound. It's really not what's going on in our present moment. It's a past childhood wound in our subconscious mind. And so I feel a lot of the masculines are acting up this week due to this wound. And so don't take it personally. We are here to heal all of this distorted childhood programming, all of these attachments to all of our past traumas that have blocked us from fully expressing ourselves in our truth. And so with Uranus going retrograde middle of the week, it is going to be in conjunction with the North Node still. This is where I feel the divine masculine really gets to reconsider. He's going to be asked to go within, to be conscious of which path he wants to take and why, and to look at how things have gone wrong in the past, because we can't move forward without rectifying these past poor behaviors first. And so I feel we're all being asked to go inward, to honor self-love, to honor this connection from the inside out. And so the more we focus on what's going on in the 3D, the harder it is to shift things in the 3D. So everything kind of has to shift internally first. And we have to love ourselves first, divine feminine, unconditionally, if the masculine is to come forward and put in that effort in the outer world. We have to be a match to this connection. We have to be a match to our counterpart. And we can't do that when we've got all of these underlying blocks. And so I think the new moon in Virgo, we're going to get unhooked from all of these karmic attachments. And we're all being asked to accept ourselves for who we are. You think of new moon, it's dark energy. It is, you know, the darker side of the moon, the new moon. And so things are going to get really hard when it comes to self-acceptance in the energies. And so I feel there's going to be a lot of darkness coming forward, preparing for this new moon. And so we're all going to be shown where we've had our energy tied up when it comes to proving our worth or trying to be good enough for somebody or reach a level of perfection that just isn't possible. And that's usually what stops the divine masculine from moving forward. He's not perfected something in his life. And so in order to reach resolution, we have to accept ourselves, all of our perceived flaws. And we kind of have to release everything that's hindered our progress. And so I do feel discipline is another thing we need to focus on. Think of Virgo energy, structure, order, discipline, perfectionism. And what's the opposite of that? Chaos, conflict, Pisces energy, right? And so we're all being afforded this can-do energy to set some new goals this week, I feel, but we don't want to be overcritical or over judgmental with ourselves when it comes to our shortcomings. And I think that's where the masculine's at. He's berating himself. He's criticizing himself for all of his past shortcomings. And so if the masculine can release all of this negative self-talk and all of this negative critical focus, he can really move forward at warp speed like that arrow, right? Being pulled back and catapulted forward. And so I feel we're strengthening this soul bond this week. And so all of these challenges are going to make us feel like nothing is moving anywhere. Nothing's going anywhere. And so I feel we're going to be facing these frustrations, feeling like nothing ever gets better, nothing ever changes, nothing ever moves forward. But this is where we learn to change our perspective, change our approach, and to change how we view our twin flame when we're dealing with separation problems. And so I feel we're all being asked to focus on our higher self this week and to become more aligned to that version of who we are and to focus on the twin in the higher timeline, so 5D and above, okay? We don't want to keep focusing on lack or problems because then we're going to keep staying stuck in lack and problems. So I do feel this is a week that can indicate freedom, but it's also going to bring forward a lot of challenging disagreements, a lot of breakups in the karmic contracts, and a lot of challenges in these twin connections. And so freedom, we are here to build relationships where we are free. We're not here to smother people. We're here to encourage people. And so I feel a lot of the masculines are feeling smothered, either by the divine feminine's energy or by the karmic entity. And so I feel the masculine twin is likely going to be lashing out a lot in the energies this week, and his ego is going to be triggered to the max when it comes to all of these underlying insecurities below the surface. And so the masculine is so much aware of all of his shortcomings, and so all of these triggers are even intensifying these flaws. And so we're really going to want to be mindful of how we speak, because I feel the masculine's facing all kinds of opposition. And I feel the feminine just doesn't know what to say, because I think the feminine knows the masculine's hurting deeply in the energies. And so I feel the masculine's ego is very fragile, very afraid of going into this wounding and finding ways to express himself. And then when we do have Venus opposing Saturn, this is all about, structure, order, loyalty, commitments, practicality, and I feel the energy is going to be very, very heavy. I feel the masculine definitely feels like he's missing out, or that he's out of reach of the divine feminine's energy. I think the feminines have kind of gone cold a little bit. And so it's a very downhearted energy is kind of what I'm feeling. But Saturn is always seeking to teach us something, right? Get ready to learn something in the energies this week. And I feel the masculine is really trying to figure out how to actually take action to make sure things will work out, rather than just hoping and wishing for a reunion. And so with Saturn also in retrograde, I feel the masculine is really being illuminated as to why he hasn't been taking action or approaching the love that the feminines have been offering. And so a lot of dogmatic, pragmatic energy when it comes to the past. and a lot of frustrations when it comes to what's not been working out, okay? So we're not going to want to be passive. We're going to want to commit to our own future first and foremost. And so that's what I always tell a lot of my clients. If you are stuck between having to choose two, life is all about choices. Always choose yourself. When you choose yourself, that is a form of self-love that so many forget about. But when we commit and choose to ourselves, that's when the counterpart can commit and choose us as well. So I feel get ready to face all kinds of fears and worries when it comes to the future this week. You're going to feel likely pessimistic and really down and out later in the week, but it is going to be temporary. So allow the emotions to pass through you. Do not attach to them. You are an energy being, right? So allow them to pass. And remember, self-care. I feel all of this energy is just a reminder that the masculine needs to take action. If he wants his life to be beautiful like the divine feminine has created for herself. And so this is going to be a week of rebalancing, progressing, and you're going to want to be kind with yourself. You're going to want to stay in the higher focus, and you're going to be able to see exactly what needs to be done in the energies this week. So let's pull in with some cards, guys, and see what else needs to come through for the collective for the week ahead. I'm going to start off with the Starco's Astro Oracle deck. So there's the moon energy. That Virgo new moon is bringing in these new perspectives. And then the retrograde energy, it's that reviewal time. So actually they want me to read the book with the retrograde energy because we're going to have all of these outer generational planets in retrograde. This is where we shift out of these ancestral patterns. So it is a 15 card breaking down to a 6. So we are journeying towards balance and harmony. And we are breaking down the ego with the moon energy. So we're going to talk about the retrograde. So, okay, you know, so many people are like, oh my God, retrograde, retrograde, oh snap. And retrograde energies get a really bad rap, right? Cosmically speaking. And so especially Mercury retrograde, everybody like freaks out with Mercury retrograde. So I do want to talk about this retrograde energy. I know my lighting's really off today. It's very cloudy and rainy on and off here today. And so, so many people worry when it comes to these retrograde energies. But a retrograde period really is just to reverse our direction on our journey, right? To shift our perspectives and to revisit a path that maybe we did not take in the past. It's like this big renewal of our life. And so it's this time of action when it comes to stopping these negative patterns of our life. And I think many of us are going to be putting the brakes on a lot of our lives' journeys in order to go into all of these old perceptions and rework them into these new higher energies. And so retrogrades are a time for reconnecting, reevaluating, addressing all of this unfinished business when it comes to these connections, and looking at it again when it comes to maybe something that we missed. So any delays during retrograde really is to get you to make sure you've read the fine print. I don't recommend entering into any new soul contracts during any retrograde periods. I think retrograde is a time of renewal before moving forward. And so retrogrades are also an opportunity for a do-over. So I do feel a lot of the masculines are deeply stuck in the past memories. And all of these old problems are about to rear its ugly head when it comes to these dysfunctional relationship patterns, in order for the masculine to take a different approach. And so I feel a re-engaging of these connections. But there first has to be a deep inventory of the heart energy. And so I feel the masculine is being called to put his personal ego agendas aside and to do this important soul work and the urgency of this. So I do feel temptations, reminiscing, picking at all of these old scars, revisiting all of these old painful relationship situations in order to get in charge of our emotions. And I think anger is coming up. I feel a lot of the masculines have been wallowing out when it comes to the memories of any past betrayals and regrets. And I feel the masculine's like, been there, done that, got the t-shirt, don't need to do that shit again. And so I feel the gift in the retrograde is to be able to take a deep breath and to use what we have learned, our hard-earned lessons, to put it into harnessing our new skills and bringing forward this knowledge and maturity. So I'm glad I went into detail with that. I think that was a much-needed message. And so shifting out of these illusions and getting grounded in our truth. So I feel the masculine is in this deep renewal energy. So we're going to get 3 cards on the masculine side. What main astrology aspects are coming up for the masculine for the week ahead. The Cancer energy, the mother wound, immersed in a lot of heart energy. And you notice Cancer does symbol the yin and the yang. And so we also get the sextile and the trine. So I feel a lot of the masculines are opening up to their mysticism, their mystical gifts. I feel a lot of alchemizing, synthesizing energies between the counterparts, and the masculine is definitely owning his authority. He's definitely going through the fall, the descent. So I feel the masculine energy is really looking at the 7th house relationship issues, the codependencies. You think of the 10th house, it's the midhaven. This is like our public energy. So I feel a lot of the masculines, you know, have been humiliated publicly recently, and it's a challenge, right, to build from that ground zero. So you think of 10th house. This is how people perceive you outwardly. This is, you know, your groups of friends out there, and this is, you know, your people, how people perceive you. So I do feel the masculines are going through a very big fall. Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a big fall. And so a breakdown of the mind space is what I'm feeling. An opening of the heart to understand these codependencies, and they're deeply immersed in a mother wound. I'm feeling with the Cancer energy going through a death, a rebirth energy with the Plutonian aspect. So the masculines are deep within some transformative energy, beautiful death energy, preparing to rise like the phoenix. So let's get 3 cards on the feminine side. Strength. So you're being asked to harness your strength and to rise above. It is a 13, so I feel a lot of the feminines are coming out of their transformative cocooned energy, and we get the reveal too. So a big re-evaluation of foundations is what I'm feeling. Oh, and I say that, and I shit you not, guys, we get the home, the foundations. So interesting. The 10th and the 4th house are yin and yang energy. And so the masculine's really looking at his social status and where he needs to harness his authority. And the feminine really is going through this review of her family, her home, her deep roots, and healing that core wound. So beautiful energies this week. And then we get the change. The change is going to come. Changes. And we are getting future oriented. So karmic pathway activations, north node activations. The divine feminine and the divine masculine are each other's true north stars. That is your true north, right? And so all of these unexpected changes are getting us future oriented. And so we're healing that core wound. We're going into the depths of what needs to change to build these solid home foundations moving forward, and get ready to face some tension and some opposition, especially when it comes to the false social circles within the community, the false alliances, and getting to the root cause. And there's going to be this uprooting energy in order for the masculine to reach the beloved counterpart. The divine feminine is what I'm feeling. So let's grab some past life lessons, because I do feel the masculine is deep within some past life lessons. We get the mother, deep in the mother wound for sure. And then we get the lover needing to choose. So, you know, the masculine has kept this relationship with the divine feminine hidden on his heart. He's not talked about the spiritual experiences. And I feel the feminine has remained loyal on this journey. And I also feel the feminine has demonstrated what a true mother's love entails, and the masculine is deep in a mother wound of some sort this week. So we're going to see what past life lessons might be coming up for many of the Divine Masculine Collective in the energies this week. Pride and ego. Well, doesn't that just scream pride and ego? Pride and ego. And then we get the doctor energy, the fisherman, and the angelic energy. We got the mother wound. So deep, deep mother and father wound are coming up. The emperor and the empress energy. And stepping into devotion of the spiritual journey, stepping into service. And so I feel right now the feminine has such this beautiful angelic aura around her. The angels are surrounding the feminine, and the masculine's challenge, I feel, is to release the pride and ego in order to go towards the feminine's comforting presence and healing energy. And so I do feel get ready for a house call. I think you've caught yourself a big one. I'm hearing harvest, harvest, harvest. And so I feel, you know, all of the devastation we've witnessed with the last several years, with everything going on in the world, with the COVID outbreaks and the devastation around the globe, I feel the masculine is desperately in need of the feminine's healing hands and her devotion right now in order to restore his health and wellness. So let's see what needs to come through on the feminine side. So you're going to have to face any feelings of inadequacy this week. So if you're feeling like you're in a void, I urge you to go within and figure out what's missing. Dig deep into understanding any codependency issues, or if you've fallen back into any addictions of some sort. I also feel the feminine is understanding why the masculine stayed in that codependent situation when it comes to his feelings of shame, I feel. The masculine's shedding shame as the feminine releases any inadequacy issues or, you know, any fears of stepping into being self-reliant. That's a big lesson for the feminine, is releasing codependencies, embracing healthy self-esteem, and realizing where you've been too codependent on another for your happiness or well-being. And so I also feel some of the feminines, we go through facing some limiting conditions. So there might be an accident, or this is speaking of birth. So the birthing of something new. And we kind of are in the void right now, the void before we go into this new relationship. So I think right now with the Mars and Gemini, I think maybe both the feminine and the masculine are exploring some casual relationships, going through an unconventional period as we step into this self-mastery. And so higher education is being addressed, learning all we can about this hard-earned life degree, and stepping into mastery, being those guides for others, offering advice, offering our intuitive gifts, and the wisdom that we've shared from these thousands of lifetimes. So we're going to get some illumination on the masculine side, fear of rejection. I also feel a rejection of the false contracts on the masculine side. So we're going to dig into the masculine side. And one just went flying. So we got the birthday, the special occasion. So maybe by the next holiday, I know in Canada here, it would be Labor Day weekend before the kids go back to school. Is when maybe these cycles will be closing out. So by the next holiday, special occasion, whatever that is for your own journey, the masculine will likely be traveling towards you for this connection. And so right now he's kind of got his heart on lock and key. He's not really wanting to look at this. I feel a lot of the masculines are very much disconnected deep within, trying to do some heart healing with the hurt that came out. And so yeah, because he's never been able to forget you, the footprints on the heart. And so trying to heal the hurt, trying to heal the loss of this connection, getting himself unstuck, all of these distorted views of the ego. And I think maybe the masculine's going to want to come in for a renewal and perhaps maybe a weekend getaway together. I also feel the masculines are afraid you're going to meet somebody new if they don't come in and balance this situation. So they're definitely paying attention to the details. And they're fully aware of the addictive codependencies and the substance abuses that have been affecting them from seizing this opportunity and opening up to the deep intimacy that the twins share. On the feminine side, please. So I feel a layer of the feminines when it comes to all of these past pains. I also feel a revelation about the masculine's been hiding the truth of some divorce proceedings in the karmic contract. If you are still married, Divine Feminine, I think you are rounding the completion of a divorce cycle. That's not going to be for everybody. But I feel, yeah, making peace with the past. There is that unmasking, and there's going to be some obstacles with finances if you are closing out a divorce, Divine Feminine. But I feel what's been hidden is the fact that that contract is over. The masculine's not really come forward. And you're going to be receiving a message. I do feel cosmic full disclosure about these unhealthy patterns, these addictions. And I do feel the masculine is preparing to make plans to take a risk to offer you a committed partnership. He sees you as a life partner and wants that fresh start. But once again, that pride and that ego and your light is so bright, he's got to find his determination when it comes to all of this past regret, remorse, guilt, and shame. So let's jump in with some tarot and see what else needs to come through for the masculine. Yeah, not learning that lesson yet, right? There's resistance to this change, resistance to something coming full circle, living in that illusionary world of that fantasy, right? The false foundation. Everything might look good on the outside, but it's crumbling on the inside. And so let's see what needs to come through for the Divine Masculine. We got the Judgment reverse, so facing some harsh karma. There's a lot of karma playing out when it comes to this new beginning in love. And the masculine understanding what it is he needs to walk away from for this new beginning in love. And understanding the lesson of what it has cost him walking away from this Holy Grail opportunity with the Divine Feminine. And so get ready for some action. There's some action being sparked, a new creative passion, and there's the Queen of Coins with the Empress. So, you know, the masculine's got a big decision to make, right? I feel he's really facing the regret over walking away from this big cup of love with the feminine. He's definitely deep within healing a mother wound, learning to mother and heal himself, and definitely a rude awakening. And he sees the feminine about to reap her harvest. So there's going to be an opportunity for a clean slate, a brand new beginning that will lead to the ultimate abundance, the ultimate happiness, a change in legacies. But the masculine is going to have to come forward with that truth. Look at that. And then the King of Pentacles. So he's going to have to admit, boy, this was a big missed opportunity, all because I was afraid to commit is what I'm feeling. So, you know, something coming back around to be dealt with on the masculine side, because he's been stuck in this karmic prison cell of sitting in all of this truth. Everything is exposed in the darkness, right, when it comes to this happily ever after. So I feel a big perspective shift, this deep internal expansion of what needs to be spoken about, what needs to be said in order to own the mystery of this connection, and a major perspective shift. So Pisces energy. Let's dig into the Divine Feminine side. We're going to use the Gilded Tarot. There you are, Divine Feminine, birthing that brand new life, and I feel it's going to bring forward a confession or some exposure of some sort. So you can run, but you can't hide, right? You can run, but you cannot hide from this love. So we'll see what needs to come through on the Divine Feminine side for the week ahead. And we get the Three of Cups, the Three of Pentacles, I think it's time to celebrate. We are coming closer. This is about instilling those communal efforts. And look at that, decision time. Yep, the crossroads. Wow. So get ready to really go within and shift that perspective, right? I find it so interesting. The masculine's coming forward too. So, you know, it's time to speak this truth is what I'm feeling. And to come forward and ask for that forgiveness that's been withheld, right? When it comes to all of these manipulations of the past. So some big changes. Brand new spark here on the feminine side. And a huge aha moment as to what it is you need to kind of leave behind. What do you need to walk away from to have this new beginning with your counterpart? Because there's big love here. The eye of the tiger is what I just heard. So laser focused on love this week is what I'm feeling. So you're going to want to get out of the head because we're healing these missed opportunities. We are healing these missed opportunities, and victory is ours for the taking. So I do think get ready to receive a love offer. Get ready for a lot of passionate communication back and forth, and the masculine coming in wanting that new beginning, and it will grow. It will definitely grow. So we're going to close off the reading with some Rose Oracle messages. One last message, please, for the twins, for the week ahead. Thank you. Say yes. You're going to have to be open to receiving this blessing. So we're going to be dealing with all kinds of extremes this week as part of this expansion journey. We are going through divine rapture in order for us to devote ourselves to this loving, ecstatic connection. And so there's potential for a new promise to be made. I think it's about to happen. These old cycles of life are closing out as we go through these transitionary stages of soul growth and expansion, and we embrace these changes. So I think get ready for clarity and a fresh new start. And that's what I got, guys. I hope this helped. I hope this resonated. If you would like to book a personal or a twin soul reading with me, I do encourage you to check out that description box below, guys. And I look forward to seeing you all again next time. Thank you.